Okay, we're live, and yes, and I have lowered the bit rate, so we shouldn't get that
all
weird.
right.
Yeah, we should be good. We should stay excellent the whole time instead of dipping into fair.
Are we Bill and Ted here? Yeah. You know what? That third movie wasn't terrible.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was pretty good. Yep. Yeah.
That's right. It's amazing they made that. Yeah, I was really surprised.
It was good.
Yeah. And that was during COVID, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Wow.
And I watched it like one day when my partner was out, and I think she came home right when they put the buckets over their head, so the future selves don't know what they're doing, which I thought was hilarious. And she looks at me and she goes like, "You're watching?" I'm like, "Okay, like never see the other ones. Context, like this is hilarious because how would you prevent future self from knowing what you're doing unless you don't know what you're doing yourself?"
Right.
Anyway, I thought that was funny. Yeah.
Fun with time travel. Oh man. Yeah, so tomorrow is our first, the beginning of the escalation campaign.
Yes, finally.
Yeah, and I realized, because I thought we could build our kingdoms as we play, but I realized that each match you kind of roll for how someone is being invaded, or you're kind of contesting, which is kind of cool, because then you can, it's like, oh, I don't want you to use that dragon next game, so I'm going to attack the caves where the dragon lives or whatever. And if you dominate that, then the next game you don't have access to that unit. So
no, I thought that was I didn't really read that, but I thought that was the case, right? Because in the Oathmark thing, when you're building your kingdom and choosing unit selection, right, you got the 5 rings, and it says the 5th ring doesn't really factor into army composition selection, but the terrain is important when you play campaign. And I went, okay. So yes, your opponent occupying one of your territories probably prevents you from accessing whatever troops that territory would allow you.
Right.
So maybe double up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, make sure you get everything covered.
I think I've got most of my selections down, or at least I know what I'm going to do. I'm still finding out the color scheme for my elves. Yeah. Like, okay, if you go on Instagram and Twitter, like the first one I did, I'm like, that looks pretty cool. Looks very magical.
Oh.
Not like frosty and dark. Then the second one, I'm like, that looks okay. But anyway, like I think I've got the War Games Atlantic like harvester bugs coming, which is like 20 large bugs and 10 smaller bugs. I think what I'm going to do is use those as giant spiders.
Oh, that would work. Yeah. Oh, really cool. Oh, great. Giant spiders.
Yeah. This is why I picked out. I'm like, oh, look, we get giant spiders. Right? Well, we have access to giant spiders. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think, and if you have any time, put together like 1,000-point list just of like, super magic items and stuff. So if we have extra time, then we'll just do something wacky for the second match.
All right.
That might be fun, because I realized there's some really cool magic items. There's literally
very expensive, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're really expensive, but 1,000 points, we might, because I don't have enough units. So it's going to have to be big, expensive units, and you don't have enough models to do too much. But for 1,000 points, you can give everything a magic item.
All right, all right, deal. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'm getting back to work.
Yeah, because it might be fun to have that as a backup. Because I think, we'll see. We'll see how quickly the first match goes. I think I've got the rules down. I watched. You know what? There's a few videos where people make mistakes,
right?
And that is a really good teacher, because and I love the people that are really honest about that. Please tell me in the comments, and I'll correct this. And I know last time when first time I tried to make this video, I did this wrong and this wrong. So that really reinforces, what you need to pay attention to in the system. And it's not a complicated rule system. It's just there's a lot of little, +1, -1, +1, -1 that you gotta make sure you're doing correctly, because it makes the rolls significantly easier.
No, I appreciate that as well. When you just like. That's why I watch, or used to watch, like APs and videos, like to learn how to play this game, right? So I don't care about production quality, right? But like when people go, okay, we're learning this game, and then if they go back, oh, that was a mistake, or they kind of go back, if they kind of cop to it, or even afterwards, right? If they kind of go, okay, here are the things we may have gotten wrong, or kicking it out to the community saying, okay, what did we get wrong? I prefer that rather than just kind of no acknowledgement whatsoever, right?
Yeah, where you're getting,
or you're getting nothing,
information.
Or bad information, yeah.
Right. Yes. All right. So we good to go? Take a look.
I'm all set
in the chat. Okay. So we should be. It should be good. So I hope everyone is doing well, and we'll get things started here.
Oh, there we go.
Welcome to the Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the Weekly, the Year Zero and Dragonbane licenses.
Ooh.
Draft. Yeah, draft versions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
leaked draft?
Yeah. No, not
Sorry.
leaked. Yeah, the official draft. Official draft. The first copy of D&D ever sold. So go back to the good old days.
Okay.
Ardlings fail in the playtest for 5e.
Okay.
Or I guess it's not 5e. It's
D&D
1D. Yeah,
whatever.
1D.
Okay.
Yeah. And Black Flag is pulling a Paizo.
Okay, I want to see what that means.
Yeah,
All right.
so they
All
had
right.
they had a little bit of an explanation because people are starting to get really upset. It's like, this is just 5e. I think
Isn't that what you wanted?
yeah, they were expecting them to reinvent the wheel or something,
Right,
but one of the head designers did a blog post that kind of explained what they're doing, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It's like, oh yeah, well, we'll get into it.
Cool. Okay. All right.
But first, let's start with the new licenses. So Free League launches their new licenses for Year Zero and Dragonbane. So Year Zero will be a license and an SRD, and Dragonbane is just a license for making modules, basically.
We might get into it, but what is the license for the SRD? Because we talked before about,
right.
okay, is it like Creative Commons? Is it whatever?
Yeah, they're calling it their free tabletop license, FTL. So it's their original third-party license.
I thought FTL was faster than light.
It
but
is.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah, I know. So we have to make some sci-fi. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
FTL, using FTL. Right, okay.
Right. And so they've already, I mean, this has already been put together by an attorney, which is interesting because a lot of the feedback is like criticizing the legal, like amateurs criticizing the work of an attorney.
I don't know, man. One of the downsides of the internet is letting idiots think they can know everything, right? Anyway.
Yes. So this license will give you an irrevocable worldwide royalty-free right to use the Year Zero SRD, Year Zero Engine SRD, to publish your own role-playing material based on it. And so they tweaked the SRD and kind of included evolutions and things that have happened in newer versions of it for different games. And they said it's very similar to what they're already using for their workshop, for the Free League workshop. So yeah, very generous and very easy to use. I didn't get as much time to look at the Dragonbane, and that's still kind of upcoming. But one of the big comments that people made is you have to define what a module is. It's like, okay, well, if we're gonna, I guess, legally, I guess we can have to define every term. Okay. But yeah, so, and maybe it's just because people do have the tendency, because of how third-party developers are working with 5e, of doing things that just support like a book of spells, a book of monsters, whatever, and they probably want adventures. They probably,
well, that's what I was just gonna say. Like, I haven't looked at the Dragonbane license either, but I wonder if someone could just come up with, here's spells, or here's a new class, or here's whatever. Like, does that fall under the legal term of module for this case, right? Yeah.
So we'll see we'll see how that goes. And so if you don't know the Year Zero engine, it's the basis for a lot of things that Free League has done. So Mutant Year Zero, Coriolis, Tales from the Loop, Forbidden Lands, Alien, Vaesen, Blade Runner, and the upcoming Walking Dead universe.
Right.
So
ask us how we feel about that.
It's gonna suck. If that's a good game, it's gonna be a good system for that game, but it's gonna suck because I don't want to play Walking Dead. That's gone on.
That's fine. You don't have to. No one has like zombie gun to your head and you must play Walking Dead, right?
But what if it's really fun? Yeah, that's really.
I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not the Walking Dead's kind of whatever, right? But yeah, based on my reaction to Alien, right? I kind of went, oh, this is fantastic, right?
Yeah, right.
Haven't played Blade Runner, but you said that's fantastic. So I mean, like, okay, feelings on Walking Dead aside, if it's using the Year Zero engine, it's probably going to be decent.
Yeah.
Right?
And
they're probably going to use like gear stuff from Forbidden Lands, right? To kind of
like resource dice stuff.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Right.
And I could see using like stress and panic dice, right?
Yeah, right.
So it's gonna be a good system, right? Oh, there's that zombie gun. We're gonna have to play it now.
Right. Yeah. It just that. Yeah, the IP. That's interesting too, because IP usually brings you into something that you wouldn't try, and this time it's like making me say, I don't really want to. Yeah, deal with that AMC-ridden universe.
I wonder what would make it Walking Dead.
Yeah, well, I think probably like survival and tension between the humans, and then constant zombie threat. Maybe you're like rolling kind of walking, like wandering zombie tables and things. Yeah,
probably. No, but okay, like I was thinking, because aliens, the game, right, clearly has a defined universe, and I've watched like 2 episodes of The Walking Dead. I'm sure that has a defined universe or setting as well. So it's probably going to be, or my guess would be, places, right? Like write-ups of the places and maybe some people or characters from the thing to make it Walking Dead, where it would, depending on the price tag, if you wanted to play Zombie Apocalypse, it would probably be dead easy to strip that stuff out and just play generic Zombie Apocalypse, right?
Right. Yeah. The one thing that the comic especially does well is locations, like just like the shopping mall from Dawn of the Dead and things like they have a prison, like they find a prison and then they confine themselves in a prison because it's the most secure place, the fences and everything, and the most secure thing to keep zombies out.
Was it a commentary on the military-industrial prison complex?
Not
because that's what that's what the original Dawn of the Dead was, right?
Not so much, not to that same extent, but
lost interest.
It's they do a nice. The comic did a nice job, and then the show just imitated that. And then they start to build little settlements and things, and it gets way too much into kind of the politics of little tribes of humans. And just if that's in there, I have zero interest.
Well, I remember I had a kind of a big discussion with someone, other Chris, like a while back. I'd be like, okay, zombie apocalypse. Like, what is the focus of the zombie apocalypse? Is it survival, or are zombies just kind of like a catalyst to show how shitty people are to each other, right? Because those are 2 different things, in my opinion, right? Yeah,
and the one thing that the show does all too often is there's tension between characters and something that's not going to get resolved. Oh, and one of them's eaten by a zombie at the end.
That's pretty lazy. It's resolved. I mean, anyway, all right.
Won't have to worry about that anymore. So I have a question for you. So did the Chaosium founder, Greg Stafford, own the first ever copy of D&D sold, and was it bought directly from Gary Gygax himself?
I'm going to guess yes, based on otherwise. If the answer was no, this bit goes nowhere.
There's a lot of detail in that question.
Way too many details.
No, that's not it at all.
The answer is no. Moving on. All right.
So the answer to that question, so that question was answered on the now defunct Stafford Codex, which was the blog that Greg kept, and they retrieved it. Chaosium retrieved it on using the Wayback Machine for old internet pages, and posted it on the Chaosium blog. And the story is great, and it brings you back to the time where there wasn't all this. I guess there was the satanic panic, but aside from that,
you had to figure out how shitty Gary Gygax was, or it wasn't common knowledge. Anyway,
it was back in the day when people were just making fantasy games and living their dreams.
Sure.
So after high school, Greg got a job at a belt buckle company in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
Way too many details here. Yes. Just to be fake. Okay.
Then he moved to California. His friend Jeff stayed at the company, and while he was at the printer, so he was picking up catalogs for the belt buckle company. The other day, there was a guy waiting for his stuff. I asked him what it was, and he said it was a fantasy game. And I said, "Hey, my buddy in California is doing one too. Can I buy that? Can I buy one from you?" And of course, he was happy to sell the first copy. They just printed it. It was the first copy ever. And later on, Greg asked Gary, "So, do you remember that happening? And was that, was that actually your first copy ever?" He's like, "Yeah, that is that." And it was sent to him. But the sad ending is he lent it to the DM to run it and never got it back. So whoever ran their first D&D campaign still has that.
Depending on the format it was in, I'm guessing it's kind of a staple loose leaf pages. It's probably ended up in a landfill somewhere, right?
right.
Like someone's mom threw it away, or just like someone moved house and like it's gone.
Yeah. But that's so funny, like how small, and that's. We have to get back to those roots of zines and like printing your own, and like this is your own thing.
Not with D&D, we're not. That ship has sailed. Do you want to make like D&D zines? Like there are so many OSR and OSR adjacent zines. Like that scene still exists. Just not with D&D.
Right. No, that's a very good point. Oh, that's right. The one thing I forgot to update us to, speaking of D&D at the beginning, is Brinkwatch Day 17.
Kyle's still not fired.
Hashtag resign Kyle, resign. So he's still making his way through the friendlier podcasts. So YouTubers and podcasts that are going to be friendly to him and tolerate his corporate speak, he's still doing. And a few of them have confronted him about that and said, So this guy was very critical of you. Why don't you go on his podcast? It's like, well, I don't know if we can get anything. It's like, no, you just don't want someone to really ask you some difficult questions that you can't go, well, we're looking into that and we'll get back to you.
That's all it would be. That's the only answer would be, right? And, as someone who doesn't enjoy confrontation, if I was in Kyle's position, I would not go on those podcasts either, right? But I'm also not making Kyle money, so who knows? Yeah,
right. And the interesting thing that he said, the default thing that came up is, well, first of all, he kept saying, well, I've just been here for a few years. This started way before me to kind of not get involved. Right. And also that D&D or Wizards of the Coast needs to become just another creator. We need to consider ourselves, we have, of course, a lot more resources, but we're creators just like you. And we should stop using the term third party, and we should all just call ourselves creators or producers of D&D. Like, okay, yeah, that's great. Yeah, because I guess the accusation was on being non-competitive, like trying to put other people out of business with this kind of walled garden that they're thinking of.
Which is exactly what they're trying to do.
Right, and that was the answer is, no, we're just another creator, guys. I mean, we're almost $1 billion brand, but, we're just a creator like you.
Yeah, we're small just like you. Yeah.
Right.
Going the critical role route, I see. No, we're just a home game just like you, right? Sure, we've got animated specials and comic books and all this stuff, and a legal team that'll see you in dust if you...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, no. Not buying it, Kyle.
Yeah. Well, I guess we got more, and I'm repurposing. So, Matt, I think we're going to repurpose the not the best, because I think Wizards of the Coast has actually earned that. They not
the best?
Yeah. I think they have earned... They've gone from world's greatest role-playing game to... well, not the best.
Well, they never said world's best. Yes. Oh, okay. I suppose we're splitting hairs, right?
Right.
Was it the world's greatest or world's most popular?
Oh, maybe most popular. I'm sure if it's changed the verbiage. I'm not sure if it's changed.
Because if the word's most popular, definitely doesn't mean you're the best.
Yeah, right.
Right. Oh, we're going right here.
True. Everything.
The
world's greatest role-playing.
Oh, God damn it! All right.
Oh, it's so great. Darn it.
Sure. Were there any sarcasm quote marks?
There were, greatest. Yeah, scare quotes on there. It's the greatest. But speaking of the world's greatest role-playing game, they're still
Alien
doing...
RPG? No, okay, sorry.
They're still doing their Unearthed Arcana playtest for 1D&D, and Jeremy Crawford had to make a video. And this video is...
Had to, okay.
He had to. He was forced to. Probably off camera, there were guns involved. Right. And in this video, he said, there are a lot of fans of Ardlings, but Ardling's time has not yet come. The Ardling is moving out of the playtest for now, and maybe some future year we will return to them. So
for those of us who don't give a shit, I'm sorry, who don't know, what is an Ardling?
An Ardling is a celestial animal folk.
All right, okay.
So it was like a divine furry. Yeah. So thank you for taking that out. Yeah, we don't need any more animal heads on.
Well,
people.
I'm curious, right? Why did it get taken out?
I'm not sure. I think it was just people didn't. Maybe a lot of it was lore wise. Like they just said it was getting negative feedback. They didn't specifically say what people were not happy about. But I think it was kind of it's maybe playing too much with the because if we're gonna have. I don't know if we're gonna have gods and devils. I guess our tieflings are already demon kin, right? Yeah. So
and you already have Aasimar.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what people's big dislike for them was, but I think it was just getting a lot of negative feedback, and it was just kind of it was vague and weird and a little too maybe overpowered as well if they have some divinity to them. So yeah, maybe it was just upsetting people how they were going to try to include whatever pantheon of gods or whatever this was including.
I think it's tangent. I think it's kind of weird. Maybe not. Okay. From a company standpoint, yeah, you want to make sure whatever you put out next is a hit, and it's fucking gonna be, right? Like, people are gonna buy it, right? But I find the whole committee by design and constant rounds of feedback thing very bizarre, right? Like, okay, I recently just released a game, finally a print and play pixel game, and I did not polls, but kind of informal things on Twitter. But it was about which color do you like? Which is most legible? Does this read, right? Because we're using pixel stuff. So I do understand wanting to get feedback before you release a game, rather than releasing it and people going, can't read this, this is broken, this doesn't work, right? So, quality control, quality testing. But, yeah, the whole thing about, do you like this?
Yeah.
Do you like this? How about now? Do you like it? They've been doing it since 5e, right? Like before
Yeah, that was
5e,
it.
like, well, I
Right.
suppose after they took a bath on 4e, right? And enough people jumped ship to create Paizo, right?
Right.
So I guess you kind of have to, but at the same time, it's like, this is part of why myself and I think a lot of people in the indie sphere feel that D&D will never be groundbreaking or kind of innovative or anything like that, because it's like, what do you want to see?
Yeah.
Rather than saying, we have this idea, we're going to do it. And I'm sure, who knows, maybe the designers don't get a say in this, because the last time they had an idea was 4E. And
Yeah.
that did not work out for them. So
Yeah, I think when they're really angling to try to get the new generation of, like, PC RPG gamers, and it.
I actually kind of want to go back and try 4E sometime,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I remember looking at like a leaked or pirated copy of the 4E PHB, and as someone was coming from 3.5 and 3, I went and I have no idea what the fuck I'm looking at, right? Because everything was so different, which I think is what happened,
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know, the whole.
No, I think that's very true. You want designers to have a vision, and okay, this is going to be, because people do that anyhow. They say this era of D&D was this designer. This era of D&D was this designer.
I don't think you can say that anymore.
No, yeah, you definitely can't. And so I think that you loses some identity and some character. It's like, oh, I didn't really like this guy's stuff, but then it got better.
Well,
so there's always
there's going to be some of the author's voice in there, right? Just kind of like the way like anthologies have like an editor, and right, like an editor is going to have something. So like individual designers are still putting things together, and I think you could probably look at some similarities, and there might be a voice. But yes, I agree, it's going to be like a much weaker voice with this construction by committee or design by committee style stuff.
Yeah.
Where, again, like maybe we're outliers here. Do the majority of people who play D&D, do they care? Do they notice?
Right.
Does it matter to them?
Yeah, that's true. That whoever is doing the playtest, is this really the people they should even be listening to?
I don't know.
If they want new customers, if they want ease of use, if they want a nice range of types of character.
They got to go
heritages
somewhere.
and
But like you
things.
said, like, are the people who are answering these surveys the people who are going to be playing, or are they kind of representative of the larger pool of people who are not terminally online and whatnot? I don't know.
Right. But don't worry.
Okay, I'm not.
The playtest species that did do well are the Dragonborn and Goliath. They got positive feedback, and of course the revised character class was very, very well received, especially its new holy orders. Clerics.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the revised cleric. Okay,
revised cleric. Okay.
So revised clerics are safe. Okay, whatever. But anyhow, did you mention Paizo?
I did.
Speaking of Paizo,
All right.
there was a post, actually the very first design diary posted on the Project Black Flag, so the Kobold Press blog. And this was the senior designer, Celeste Conowitch, wrote a entry kind of explaining, because a lot of people, the comments are just getting vicious on the
Have you been online recently, my man?
these Black Flag posts. It's like, just relax. I mean, why are you just going to harass? Oh, this is a project that I want to harass as much as possible. But they posted a series of questions and answers and kind of points to what they're doing. So the playtest packet number 1 has been out, and it goes up through heritage and lineage, and isn't complete character creation. And they were just asking for feedback.
Right.
And so the senior game designer just wanted to answer a few questions, kind of created a little bit of an FAQ. So what is the point? Why make a 5e clone? And the answer is because it's time for the monopoly on D&D to end.
Okay, noble goals. I don't really see how making I kind of do, but I don't know if I agree. Anyway.
Right. So this game has meant too much for us for too long to let it be owned by just one company. I love D&D. I've played it. I played every edition, about hundreds of books, and my fondest memories are built on this game. I would go so far as to say, if not for D&D, I don't know if I would be here today. Ooh, ouch. Okay. So we want 5.5e, not 1 D&D, is basically the types of things they're saying. And will what they're doing be perfect? No, it won't. But they're going to try to do what they can, the best that they can. And then they're going through and talking about there will be changes. This will be different from 5e, but it's going to be the 5e that a lot of their material is written for, the 5e that they want to play. So if you're playing Kobold Press, material, this is probably going to work very well into what what you've already
right. Was that
enjoyed.
stated?
What
that because okay, like Kobold Press much smaller than D&D, but I mean they're still like a company, right? Not an individual designer. So okay, I haven't read Black Flag, but based on the comments I kind of saw that spilled over, just like okay, this is the clone of 5e. But knowing that Kobold Press put out 5e compatible stuff in the past, and that was kind of their deal, no way in hell they just wanted to make a completely new game that their old stuff wasn't going to be compatible with.
Right.
So as someone who kind of values honesty, and just be like, okay, look, this is going to be D&D 5.5 because we want it to be compatible with stuff we've already made. And if they kind of directly say that and kind of put that up front, then I don't really have a problem with it. If they want to do, but we still have like none of this wishy-washy bullshit. Just say, look, we don't want to pulp all this other stuff. It's this.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And I think So the answer to what are you changing is we're changing stuff that needs to be changed and doing it in a way that respects your current 5e library and keeps it useful.
That's not an answer.
Yeah. That's
We're changing things that need to be changed. Like what?
So I mean to say that backwards compatibility is the thing they are trying to do the most. Our goal is to change stuff and then give you clear instructions to keep you using your current materials. We are trying to do that in a way that won't make PCs or GMs want to cry in frustration. And then they go through, it does list very specifically things that they are doing. And if you're just, so also in answer to the question, well, the SRD is in Creative Commons. Why do you need to do this? Anybody can make D&D. So listed the few things that the Kobold designers and I are creating as replacements for the great core rulebooks bits that we all wish were in the SRD. So alternatives for subclasses missing in the SRD, reimagining feats missing in the SRD as talents, and lore text for every monster in the SRD. And then streamlining of presentation, the lineage heritage no longer grants ability bonus scores. Players can choose player characters now choose their lineage and heritage. And then they'd go into the details about their talent system. Okay. So they're trying, and it really does sound, because they had from 2015 until now, they're just constantly creating content, and that would just be completely erased, especially if depending on what happens with Wizards backwards compatibility, their 5e stuff may not be very useful. So they're trying to, I guess, handle that themselves. And so it does feel very much like what Paizo was doing. It's like if they make mistakes, if Wizards goes too far and changes things too much, and one D&D is not very usable, then Black Flag will exist.
Or just you don't like it.
Or you don't like it, or you don't want to use that platform. Black Flag will exist, and all the stuff that you bought from Kobold Press will work well, and probably all the stuff that you bought for D&D 5e.
Well, I wonder, like, they might be, and I think it makes sense again as a business. Okay, like if, regardless of the changes they make to Black Flag, or the whatever Black Flag becomes, if their previous material is compatible with whatever Black Flag becomes, and if one D&D is supposedly going to be backwards compatible with D&D 5.0, then that stands to reason Kobold Press material prior to Black Flag will be compatible with both, just by the fact that both are backwards compatible. So that's got to be on their minds too, going, okay, if we don't change too much, we can our products will still appeal to both groups.
Right. And it's kind of just kind of covering their bases, because maybe Black Flag will become very unimportant if one D&D is a huge success. So like if it's adopted overwhelmingly, and it still supports 5e, the Kobold Press things will still be able to be used. And I think that it's kind of making sure, kind of anticipating a bad reaction. And I think that's a good way for them to cover their.
Well, I mean, also, okay, like themselves. If one D&D is a huge success, right? Like you still have people. I imagine it's a small percentage, but you still have people who go, you know what, I like D&D, I can't support Wizards anymore. Yeah, right. Hey, here's this D&D alike, right? That's money isn't going to WotC, but all the old stuff I have is still compatible, right? They've got those three audiences, right? D&D fans, Kobold Press fans, and then people who just want to play D&D but not support Wizards, right? So, yeah, I think unfortunately that means as few changes as possible, so that material across those three groups is going to work with as little conversion or work as possible.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, so
So
we'll
they're
see.
breaking the monopoly.
Yeah.
Not breaking the design monopoly. right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And I think that's so that people this needed to kind of happen to explain kind of their intent and motivations. This kind of question and answer, because I think a lot of people, especially in the comments, you could tell they were kind of confused. It's like, well, this is not different. It's not new and exciting. It's like,
well, it is different because it says Kobold Press right there, right?
right. Yeah, and you don't know. You're gonna wish you had, depending on what happens with on D&D, you may really wish that you had this to just fall back on. So I think that's a good thing to anticipate, because nobody has any idea how big a fumble this is going to be. And with what they've been doing as far as the recent releases from Wizards of the Coast for D&D have been really bad. So if they continue on this, like, this just overproducing releasing, underproducing as far as content, then I think they're not going to be able to keep people happy.
Can you blame them? I mean, like, you've got this giant release that might shake up everything on the horizon. You don't want people to go, I don't know what's coming out, right? Like, is this going to be usable, right? I don't know, like, because it still has to be compatible with 5e. Maybe compatible with whatever comes out of 6. So unfortunately, I think that means, like, the less mechanics that are in it, the safer it is.
Yeah. And I'm really afraid of how much they are reluctant to say 5.5, 6e. Like, they are
D&D 1.
Yeah, they're
D&D
so afraid to put a version on it because they know
there are no versions.
Yeah, right. So eliminating that version just means they don't know what they're doing anymore, because
they do. We're bringing them all in under one umbrella.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the iPhone and iPad tried to do that. Just say no. It's not a version. It's just the new iPad, the new iPhone, and they had to give that up because you need to know specs. You need to know.
Right.
People, retailers just have a bunch of confused customers saying, "Does this work with mine?" Right. I have no idea. So if something doesn't have specifications, so if they're just going to have this ever-evolving rule set, and you've got this, so wait, anything you produce for the next 20 years has to all be compatible with this rule set you're going to be changing weekly, depending on, how you're going to be attacking.
Well, if they abandon print, they could do it.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
It would be
everything can just
keep
shifting.
Yeah. It's I think no idea, but I wonder if that's what they'll go for, like a perpetually updating piece of software, right? You go into your little mobile game and you got to download that 4 megabyte.
Yeah. Every time
you play. Every time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, update. You're sitting around your virtual table. Everyone updated. Everyone current.
Oh, you're not a subscriber. You don't get the update. Right? Oh, you're locked out of your features, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing Games Workshop is running into with when they're doing new races for 40K, is the books. There's a big hype, for the books, and they're doing special editions. By the time
it's a Voltan, how could you not be hyped for a Space Dwarves again?
By the time you get those books, they've had to nerf everything, because for their new releases, they're so OP that they're you can't have them in a tournament. They're so unplayable, and then you get the book and you're just like, okay, just cross this out, cross this out. That is insane that they're going to, be running things like that. So you're going to buy a player's handbook, and they're like, most of that's in there. The pictures are still valid, but besides that, any text or numbers will probably be
I got to say, I think that's why I'm just not really interested in competitive miniatures gaming. Apart from the price, right? GW. Okay, like, the only thing I'll buy from GW now is the paints. And those are still wildly overpriced, right? But anyway, what you said, okay. They have to keep churning out stuff, and it has to be kind of new and different for people to keep buying it.
Right.
But that means, okay, kind of like we were talking about, like with the end of Netrunner, how much internal playtesting do you have time for to do this, right? If you've got to keep on this cycle of constant content release, and I don't think they could ever do it, but they should probably just, for the health of contest or competitive play, just scale back, right? Be like, whenever 10th edition comes out, being like, okay, look, we're going to take more time. 10th edition's got to be the best it can possibly be, and stay this way for the longest period of time, so that we can release each codex and not immediately have you take a Sharpie to half the rules, right? And that's hyperbole and exaggeration, right? I don't know the last time I've cracked open a GW codex, right? But that's got to be alienating some of their fan base.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard an interesting theory about Games Workshop because they've had 2 consecutive like price increases like within 3 months.
Oof.
And some of them are like over 10% for certain items, like close to ridiculous amounts of increase. And there was a theory that was saying they are literally anybody that's going to want to buy bargain, want to buy discount, not going to want to buy directly from them from their high premium price. They don't want them anymore. They want
Possibly.
they want the whales. They just want the whales. They want the guys that don't even look at the price tag. They just say, "Give me this army. Give me everything that's been released for this army." Those are the customers they want. They have no interest.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, because you hear some of the tournament players saying, "Yeah, I had to drop $3,000 to put together my army for this," and so somebody.
What did you get back from it?
So somebody else, they pay that money, somebody else paints it, puts it together and paints it, and then they bring it to a tournament. So those
and then
are
they
the
get
customers
their ass
they
kicked
want.
anyway, right? I don't know.
Those are the customers they want.
See, it's kind of similar to Magic a little bit, or other tournament games. And like personal preference, okay, for one, I think the most I spent on a single Magic card is like $25, right? And I bought a playset of those Black White Angels from Ravnica blocks, right? Like $100 on 4 cards. That was the most I did. And I said, after I bought it, I'm just like, yeah. I'm just like, what did I just do? right? 4 pieces of cardboard, right? I personally, I'm much more inclined to do it when it's pieces of cardboard because I haven't really invested anything other than money in it, right? Like I haven't clipped those things out, shed blood on my miniatures, ripped patches of skin off from the glue and painted them, only to go, oh, this unit's fucking worthless, right? In the new update. So
yeah, that's true.
They're kind of similar. Personal, that's much more palatable to me in a trading card game because I haven't really done anything with the card other than sleeve it.
Right.
So
yeah, that'd be like if you painted the illustration for the card and then play like this card sucks. I can't believe I wasted those hours drawing that wizard. Right. Yeah. I definitely. Yeah, I think that's very true. And I really suspect that a lot of people play unpainted, especially for 40K.
I'm sure they do
because they can just. It's so much easier to sell unpainted assembled models than it is a mediocre paint job on models that nobody.
But even mediocre, like I've done this. This is me, right? Anyway. Like, there's some pride in the paint you painted, right?
Yes. Yeah, no, I enjoy making it your own, but then it's like, well, who wants to buy yours?
Maybe, yeah.
Right. So,
or you sell it for cheaper, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So it's a funny thing, and so we're going to see this. I just would call it versionless D&D.
Yeah.
what that actually means. So sorry, so much D&D talk, but I was just
there's nothing. Not that there's nothing else, but you can't escape it.
It just
keeps
it keeps clogging things up. Yeah, and so I wanted to kind of because we mentioned last week, I wanted to go back and talk about the Year Zero license and then the Black Flag kind of clarification. Right. That was interesting, but that is it for this week.
Yeah.
So where can people find you?
On Twitter, as always. That's HiveMind, HYVEMYND. Instagram is the same, where I'm currently trying to decide which armor paint scheme for my Oathmark Dark Elves.
Nice.
I've put the formulas up there, and I can't decide which one I
got to take a look. Right? I've been obsessed with my own.
Your dwarf.
My own
amazing,
filthy dwarves.
So, how about you? Yeah, we're very opposite. Like, these are like clean and crisp and frosty, and you're just like trekking through the mud.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I on the board, I'm giving you like a
nice.
a snowy
I see it over there. Yeah,
so
nice,
I guess we don't have to pick sides because the board is just one.
I'm inside. Yeah, cool.
But I'm still doing. I didn't do this week. I was having a little voice trouble, and it was the holiday too, so I didn't have any. My schedule was all crazy, so I didn't do the streaming this week. But next week we will be doing the Abuse cartoons. And that is Wednesday nights, North American time, Thursday afternoons for me, where I draw my single panel gag cartoon, Domestic Abuse. So gocomics.com/domestic abuse if you want to read that. And you can watch me draw, and I eat Japanese snacks.
Maybe it's
and
whatever
we
weird Japanese snack you had at the last time.
Right, yes. So, and I've gotten away from the daring kind of like, because nobody can appreciate how bad some of these things smell.
Right,
so it's like, there's no point in doing this. They don't understand why I'm so disgusted.
Right. Ugh.
But and if you'd like to support what we are doing here, please visit upturntable.com. That's where we keep everything and link to everything. And to support specifically what we're doing with the weekly, consider becoming a weekling.
Yes, the strongest of all supporters.
Yes, on patreon.com/upturntable. You can pledge as a weekling and let us know what you'd like to see more on the weekly, and what you'd like to see just in general with actual plays and war games and all that kind of stuff.
We should put up there our lists.
Oh yeah,
Both
yeah,
markless. Okay.
yeah. We should do. Yeah, so maybe this will be a first, kind of a good place to start doing text, like a text blog on the website, and just kind of chronicle how we're putting together, lists for Oathmark, and So, and tune in tomorrow. So tomorrow, starting
Like
probably
3-ish?
Yeah, about three-ish Japan time. So probably too late for a lot of people in America.
God only knows what time North America. Yeah.
Right. So we'll stream the our first games in the escalation campaign, and depending on what we can do with it, because I thought some of the it's a good learning tool, especially watching us kind of figure out rules,
Fumble through everything.
and do the formulas and things online. So I think I'll do a cut down version, because if we play for an hour or two, that's not easy to watch. It's fun to hang around, but it's not easy to watch to learn. So I'll cut it down into something that has the kind of role formulas and stuff we're using, so you can understand a little bit more about how the mechanics of the game work, and see if it's for you. I think it's a really good alternative to like fantasy battles and stuff.
Yep. And compared to GW, you like can't beat that price point.
Oh yeah,
unless you order.
Yeah,
probably more than you should at a time. Yep.
Definitely. All right, so that's it for this week. We'll be back next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye. Nice. All right. So I still don't have that button fixed, so I'll be right back. right. Yeah, maybe I should do a countdown with no picture because I just need the audio. So maybe I can take the camera out of there. So how's everyone going? Going. How's it going? Whatever. Jeez. Hey, Matt, how's it going? Good to see you. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, we get started. I guess I try to start because Chris usually gets here right around, what is it, 12:30. So, yeah, I try to start things a little bit early. But, yeah, nice. Oh, Agent Carolina, how's it going? And Orcus, oh, nice. I saw your video for, you were at a con recently. We're talking about Cyborg. So, nice. Yeah, it's very, very cool. Yeah, good to see you in there. Oh, wait. Are we getting a name origin? Oh, wait. I'll catch up with that. Yeah, so talking about the Year Zero. Yeah, the SRD for Year Zero looked really good. It's really inspiring. I think it'd be fun to come up with something very different than what they've been doing using that system. But yeah, Walking Dead is not a great IP. I think it was just, it maybe made sense with, okay, we have Twilight 2000, we have Mutant Year Zero, we've got survival and post-apocalypse, and yeah, that kind of works. And maybe they got the license really cheap. But I don't know who's still interested in Walking Dead. It's pretty brutal. Nice. Oh, yeah, very cool. Good to see you, Orcus. Yeah, I'm really enjoying your channel. You're doing good stuff. Also, Matt saying, also the creator of Walking Dead had absolutely no interest in the lore behind the disease or having having a big overarching plot, which is fine for a while, but not for a story spanning decades. Yeah, definitely. And I felt that with the comic book too. I lost interest, really fast. And I'm surprised how much longer, like when I lost interest in the comic, it just kept going. It went twice as long as that. So yeah, it's not that fun, especially for a TV show where you kind of want to kind of reveal some sort of secret or build up to something. But who knows? I don't know where they thought they were going, but it was the era of Lost and things that didn't need to make any sense or have any resolution. Oh yeah, sorry, it's been too long, so we got not the best video. Yeah, sorry, I didn't. We talked about it and I didn't flick over to it. I've got to use that, and actually, I think I can program that in to pop it up instead of like changing scenes and stuff. I will do that because I've got to start using. You get those amazing bumpers, those amazing little interstitials, and I got to start using those. So sorry, Matt. I talk about it and then I don't do it. All right. So what else is going on? Matt wants to make a character that hunts divine furries. Yeah, that's the Ardling thing. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, they just need to give up. I think Wizards maybe is like slowly realizing that probably half their newer player base is all just like making their fursonas in a fantasy setting. They just need spellcasting fursonas. We know some people like Ardlings looking around. Yeah, right. Who exactly was demanding that? Yeah, I wonder where the that inspiration came from, because they mentioned that got mentioned a while ago and didn't make it into the playtest. Christopher, how's it going, Christopher Kubli? Devil babies are at least a thing where they took crap for them even existing before modern audiences decided to turn them into the not drow. Oh, right. Ardlings, the Coke Zero of D&D species. Oh man, or New Coke. Yeah, New Coke, because they came and went. Crystal Pepsi, nice. Excellent. Oh, that's cool. Orcus is talking about RuneQuest, the duck race in RuneQuest. So Orcus is saying one of the most absolutely fun characters I ever played was a duck trickster in Glorantha. Nice. Yeah, we played my first introduction to RuneQuest was the Six Seasons of Sartar. So that was more, that felt more kind of Scandinavian or more, yeah, we didn't encounter, we ran into some wolf men, some of the wolf species, but didn't get the full variety. Someday we will. I think we're going to continue that later. Nice. Oh, that's very cool. So Carolina saying, you know, it bothered me less to think of a tiefling aspiring to be better people than an Azamir pretending to be holy, holy when their parents did a major no. Yeah, I don't know what. There's so many. Nice. Oh, Matt is saying surely there must be some bespoke coffee shops and Starbucks in Japan other than Starbucks. Yeah, that's true. It's right there. That's the only problem with it. Yeah, really, sadly, I mean, there are, and mostly in like kind of the hipper areas, which this office is not located in a hip area. But the hipper areas of Japan have amazing coffee, especially Kyoto, you know, a lot of the little neighborhoods. But around here, yeah, it's a bordering with office workers in all the big Panasonic buildings and things. So unfortunately, it's Tully's or Starbucks, which is basically, so I apologize. We should get upturn table mugs and dump our coffee in there. Yeah, I don't mean to be flashing logos. It is depressing though that's the only place. And so, Orca said, I took a glance at the Black Flag PDF. It seems it's simply a 5e car wrap right out of the gate. Yeah, and I wonder, like we were talking about, I wonder if it's just they're just trying to protect themselves because they have no idea. Even though they're saying backwards compatibility, there's no guarantee, or even how long that's going to last. Because, you know, like new versions of 40K and stuff, they do that where there's no army books, there's no codexes yet for the new system, and they say, oh yeah, but it's all, you guys are all in there, right? And they give you this half-assed thing that to kind of transition you into the new version, and that might be what they do with 1D&D. It's like, oh yeah, all your 5e stuff still works, no problem. Just use this little handy guide, and then eventually they're just going to completely abandon that or make it so ridiculous. And then Henry Rollins. Nice. Yeah, and even notice the Starbucks here. The problem with a lot of the quicker, cheaper coffee places where they're not actually going to make the coffee is they've got these weird coffee machines in Japan that are just like a single button press, you know, kind of like you'd have at a breakfast buffet or whatever. And it so now Starbucks are starting to carry those, so people don't actually have to take apart the espresso machine you still have to steam milk, but all the espresso is just like this button push thing. So it's getting lower and lower level, even in Japan. And of course, the weird thing too is in Japan they can't raise the prices of anything. So basically, Starbucks, the only price increase Starbucks coffee got was the consumption tax raise, where they they kind of cheated that because prices are always supposed to be shown in Japan with tax included, and they started taking it out. So the prices went way up, and everyone was thinking, oh, that's just because of the tax increase. But then they added the tax on top of that. It's the only time, that was like 5 years ago, that they got to raise the price of their crappy coffee. Nice. Oh, Matt's saying, I like a digital copy on my iPad for when I'm running stuff, but I always prefer a hard copy. Yeah, it's so much more pleasurable to read rules, especially going through things for the first time and whatever. For a physical copy, I hate reading off screens. So Christopher's saying 1D&D is looking like a janky OSR 1E stuff, and the garden isn't disappearing. Yeah, I wonder what we're in for. I mean, and unless you commit, they'll probably have like a free trial. They're probably going to have some giveaway codes and stuff that get you to see what's going on, but it'd be funny just to never know. Nice. So Matt's playing a 4-player Stargrave this week. Oh, good. Buddy is making 25 pillars out of PVC pipe. Oh, nice, for a scenario out of the book. Oh, that'll be very cool. Wow. Yeah, that's the only problem with the miniatures agnostic games is a lot of them have really good scenarios, but they involve specific kind of props and stuff. So that was something that I was always the night before we're playing Stargrave or Frostgrave, I'm always carving foam in, trying to, I had to build a ship and then I had, there was a ship frozen in the ice, and I had to always construct terrain kind of rapid fire, because some of the scenarios are very, very diverse. There's not a lot of stuff you can reuse in a lot of them. But oh, nice. Yeah, 4-player, even numbers for skirmish games is so much better, because it's usually, otherwise it's usually either 2 against 1, or 2 people go at it and the other one just grabs all the treasure and runs off the board, or all the data or whatever. Nice. Okay. Oh, it's the origin of Orcus. So it's a play on Orcus from the early MMO profile name, when Orcus was taken. You needed a rhyming scheme, so it just worked. Nice. I've always wondered. Yeah. And I think I when you first joined, I think I spelled it wrong, of course, in the thank you. But yeah, that's good. Good to see you around. Nice. Oh, so who's Lord of the Rings? Yeah. So what's going on with that? Nice. Yeah, I didn't see what. I'll have to take a look, because it doesn't. I guess Warner Brothers is claiming they have the rights to Lord of the Rings, but Embracer just bought the rights to everything Middle Earth, because they own Middle Earth, whatever that is, Enterprises or whatever that is now. So yeah, interesting. That'll be weird. Yeah, those movies are so outdated. Those Peter Jackson movies. Yeah, we definitely gotta. They just don't work anymore with their feeble special effects. That's crazy. Yeah, Warner Brothers announced today they are going to remake Lord of the Rings. That's insane. That's insane. Wow. Yeah, it's going to be really weird, because that whole Saul Zantz thing, nobody knows what's going on. I guess that's why Warner Brothers is doing that animation, that Rohirrim animation, is because if they keep producing with that license, then I guess they retain it, depending on whatever the wording is of that license. But Embracer owns everything now, so it's very weird. Or I guess except for whatever Amazon stripped out directly from the Tolkien estates. That's so weird. Yeah, the straight remakes are definitely a hard pass. There's no way. And I saw a really funny YouTube video that was referring to a book about the making of Lord of the Rings. And supposedly, Harvey Weinstein, when Peter Jackson was pitching this, they said, "Okay, we'll give you the money. You got to do one movie, though." So here is how we think you can take these 3 books and make one movie out of them. So that was, I think he negotiated up to 2, but then they're like, "No, just forget it." And the thing they threatened him with is, "We'll just take this idea and give it to Tarantino." So we could have had a Harvey Weinstein produced Tarantino Lord of the Rings. But then they took it, they shopped it around. They said, "Okay, before we pass on this, or before you pass on it, can we shop it around and see if anyone will make 3 movies?" And they got New Line to go for it. But I love the idea of Weinstein trying to figure out how to crush all the story together to make one movie, and then also that Tarantino would direct. Strategicon, that's right. Nice. So ran Cyborg and Pendragon. Oh, really cool. Oh, nice. Yeah, I wish. Wish I had access to game conventions like that. I don't even think there's not even a sizable. I don't think. Of course, video games here have big conventions in Japan, and manga has huge conventions. But yeah, comics and tabletop are very underrepresented. There is what's it called? Games Market. There's 2 Games Markets, or maybe more than that. But those are basically board game. They're very small kind of board game conventions where it's mostly just the companies with tables for you to play their game. But we're talking Japan style, so really small, like a card table, like an old school, 4-chair card table. And there is some RPG stuff there, some kind of indie and small RPG and card games, but I think it's mostly board games. And the funny thing too is all the small, this is a generalization, but it's very true, and you can prove it by going to the Games Market. All of the guys that own small board game publishing companies in Japan all have Chinese wives. Because they need someone to deal with the factories, and because it's too expensive to produce board games in Japan, I think. So they're producing things in Chinese factories. And so it was so funny just walking around looking at the different, there's so many. And so of course, so their Chinese wives speak Japanese, Chinese, and English, and of course, so they're every foreigner they speak English with, and it was very funny. That's insane about Lord of the Rings. There's no way they can get that off the ground. And I wonder if anyone will contest it. Like, I wonder if anyone, if Embracer or whatever will say, that's insane. Yeah, that's really strange. The Journeys of Galadriel. Are we back to Rings of Power again? Yeah. They got to do that. Yeah, definitely that era of Lost TV shows not making any sense. Oh, nice, the 6 seasons. Oh, right. Oh, that's cool. Oh, Orcus, you're playing it right now. Yeah. We just finished. I won't spoil anything that's going on in it, but yeah, we just finished the 6 seasons, and the game master says he's got the next book, and it's kind of cool because at that point, you start out in that campaign, you started as kids, and you have to do kind of your initiation into the tribe, and so you're all playing like 14, 15-year-olds, and then once you get to the end of that campaign, there's a huge choice about what you can do next, and the campaign continues in that same area, or you can kind of go other places. So it's really cool. It's really cool. The GM that ran it really likes the writer, the designer of that campaign. So that was fun stuff. Yes. Yeah, Carolina, that's a good idea. Just get a coffee and dump it into another mug. Yeah, especially with all these like flowery springtime Starbucks cups. Oh man. Oh, Orcus, that's a good idea. Yeah, Warner Brothers. I think they are feeling very competitive because I think Amazon was kind of, saying, oh, we have the rights now when they were making their series. And that's why Warner Brothers announced their animation and everything. So it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out and where these rights actually exist, like who owns what. But yeah, it's a great opportunity too, especially if Amazon is going to keep producing stuff and then Warner Brothers says, oh yeah, you want to watch the real thing? You want to watch something more legit? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Ralph Bakshi did 1.5 books, kind of. Yeah, in one movie. Yeah, the changes they wanted were really funny. They were so funny. They were literally like just like crazy destructive. I don't even think you wouldn't even need a license for those books to make the movie that who was it, whatever the Weinstein company, whatever studio that was, but whatever they wanted to make wasn't even Lord of the Rings anymore. It was so bizarre. Yeah, if I can find that video, I'll put a link to that, but that was hysterical what they wanted to do. And it's still pretty insane based on that one. I think he won an Academy Award, but Peter Jackson won for Lovely Creatures, or I forget, the Kate Winslet movie that he did, and from that was able to get attention for doing Lord of the Rings, and previously had done Dead Alive, or like all the kind of more indie horror stuff. So it's crazy that that was even a consideration. And then the insane job that he did. Yeah, the insane job that they did. Yeah, but the yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, the video is awesome. I'll put a link to it. There's a lot of really cool stuff in there. Nice. Yeah, non-exclusive, continuing. Yeah, I wonder. And maybe the Warner Brothers deal. Well, no, if they're releasing animation, it's so confusing now though, because theatrical and streaming and things are all blurred. So a TV drama, a TV series, which is what Amazon bought rights for, a TV series is not a TV series. It's a streaming series. It's not on a network. So yeah, it's very strange. Matt was saying, I need to go to the Japan Grand Prix this year and get me autographs. Right, it's right up the road from me. All right, well, you got a place to stay, Matt, so no problem. Nice. Yeah, that's insane. So Christopher saying, my guess is Embracer gets a cut, but the Warner Brothers deal was involved with the Middle Earth group, which and probably when they purchased stuff, whatever agreements were already there, licenses and stuff were already out, still stand. So yeah, because like when Disney bought Marvel, that didn't mean they got everything that Marvel had. That still meant that they had to honor, Spider-Man was owned by Sony, and all the characters that Marvel sold off were still sold off. So yeah, I'm sure that's the case. That's crazy. There's nothing sacred anymore. Yes, Carolina, that's very true. Yes, but how will the Salzitz company force its way into this discussion? Right? Salzitz is always going to be. We've had these rights since 1976. Don't fuck with us. Yeah, right. Or because someone should make a movie based on the Board of the Rings parody book. Yeah, was that like National Lampoon or something? That was maybe earlier than that. Yeah, maybe, that was a British parody, I think it was, wasn't it? Oh man. Yeah, I will. I'll post that. I will post that. It'll take me a bit to find. It was a few days ago. That's crazy. Yeah, so tomorrow is our first game of Oathmark. So it's going to be really small. We've only got like two units. I'm not sure how I'm going to run things. I might split stuff up. I don't know if I want to run things like as more small harassing units, or in bigger, because you get benefits from having things in bigger clusters, but then you're more of a target. And I'm running dwarves, and of course they're slow as hell, so I won't be able to get very far across the board. But we're playing on a 2x4 table, because there's literally only 2 units, so we don't need to spend hours chasing each other around on a 4x6. So it'll be the kind of the smallest game in ranked fantasy. Yeah, we'll be streaming it, Matt, so it'll be up there. Hey, Skeletor. Skeletor posting the nice. Oh yeah, Idiocracy. Yeah, Agent Carolina. Yes. Yeah, I have the Mike Judge movie. Nice. Yes, a 13-year-old joined the chat. Yeah, so we'll stream it, and hopefully we'll do better sound. We'll use these mics and hopefully get better sound on it. Previously, when we did streaming, we just had a mic in the middle of the room, and it's too echoey, and the noise is pretty distracting. So we'll do better audio, and then I can cut it down and make it a more interesting kind of short play of the one session. I'm not sure how much time we'll have. We've got a few hours, so we could do a couple of matches. And so I told Chris to make a crazy 1,000 point. We're going to play 550, which is like a beginner game. And then I told Chris to make a crazy 1,000 point list with a bunch of like magic items and stuff, so we can try out some of the crazy, because there's literally like magic items that give you teleportation, so you can like jump around 12 inches all over the board and throw fireballs and be very harassing. So I'm curious how some of that will work. And yeah, so pretty straightforward scenarios, nothing too complicated. but it'll get as things increase, as the scale of everything increases, it gets much more interesting. And then there's also, like Frostgrave and a lot of the other games, there's hazard effects and things, weather changes and things that can happen in the more advanced games. So as we get up there, so that's nice, because you have these random factors that happen during certain scenarios that can make ranged weapons, archers and things, more or less effective. And so there's a lot of fun in there. So the first game tomorrow will just be kind of a learning game, so we'll go through and talk through everything that we're doing. So we'll see. Nice. Yes. Yeah, Idiocracy, that American, was that Ken Burns that did that? Yeah, there was a American documentary of 2016 to 2020. It literally was. Wow. People think it was a comedy, but yes, I think you're right, actually a documentary. It's so funny, and that Mike Judge was trying to be as ridiculous and outrageous as possible, but just like even with like WALL-E and stuff, the ridiculous future of those baby people, those soft baby people in floating chairs, it's like that feels more and more possible. But yeah, a lot of the distracting stuff in Idiocracy. Yeah, you can just replace Mountain Dew with White Claw. Nice. Exactly, man. Mm-mm. Yeah, it's really really funny. Yeah, I wonder if because a lot of times as people get older too, so maybe Mike Judge isn't as like cynical and bitter, so like Office Space and Idiocracy aren't quite, he's not capable of that anymore. I'm not sure. I wonder if he could make a follow-up or a movie that was as critical as those were, of being stuck in an office or or the hell future. It's funny. Oh yeah, that's right, King of the Hill. Yeah, I saw that. And Beavis and Butthead has been on one of the streaming services, Paramount Plus or something, has a movie and a series for Beavis and Butthead. Yeah, so it's crazy. He's going back to it. I wonder if he's still doing the voices, because that was the one thing that I heard was like the worst part of that, is having to voice those characters, because he did both characters, and because he's not a professional voice actor, he chose to do really stuff that's really, really hard on your throat to maintain those. The both characters' voices were really, really hard, so it limited like how long he could record. Oh, nice. Kunk on Earth. I saw that. It's on Japanese Netflix. I finally got to see that. That's pretty funny. Oh, the National Park series. Oh, interesting. I've never seen. Yeah, the last Ken Burns thing I watched was the Vietnam. That's brutal. Yeah, the Ken Burns Vietnam is very brutal. Nice. Yeah, it's really good. And I wonder, like when you think of like the fake kind of staged interviews like Ali G and stuff, it seems like everybody that is in the Kunk on Earth stuff has some sort of sense of humor about it. Like they're like given some expectation, because they have natural reactions to things, but also they stay, they just take everything she says seriously. But nobody would, especially like academics and things wouldn't tolerate too much nonsense, but they seem to like take everything she says seriously. So yeah, it makes it much more funny, because there's not the outrage or the nobody. Everybody just tries to answer her question. Nice. Yeah, that's really good stuff. Oh man. Well, good. Well, yeah, good to see everybody in the chat. Oh yeah, wow, local game convention. That sounds great. Yeah, everything, unfortunately, in Japan, everything decent and of scale is in Tokyo, so it's expensive as hell. It's like having everything in Manhattan. It's such a pain in the ass to get in and out, and expensive to deal with anything. And now that the tourists are coming back, it's going to be even more miserable. It's crazy. Yeah, so. Oh, yeah. Nice. Nice, yeah. Monty Python, absolutely fabulous. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, that's a funny thing. I was so tricked just by the little bit of British humor that we got in the U.S., thinking that all British humor was good. And then, like, once the BBC and stuff started posting stuff online, I can't even imagine being forced to own, or, you know, having the BBC be my only television option. There's so much unwatchable stuff. It's crazy. I just like, yeah, just like American television. There's just so much trash. But yeah, you get that weird sense of, wow, everything is so good. They're geniuses. No, they just have or whoever is, you know, paying to run that stuff in America is more discriminating. All right. Oh yeah, Mitchell and Webb. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, there's some really good British stuff, but there's some really bad stuff. I just like American comedy too. Like, there's some really great American comics, but oh my God, you wouldn't know that from going on Netflix that there was good American comedy. Yikes. All right. Well, cool. Yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, so Chris and I, and it'll probably be like a good 5-hour stream. We'll get started probably about 3 this time and go until kind of, you know, late dinner time. So we'll get 4 or 5 hours in. So we should be able to do a couple of matches, and we'll go through the our choices for kingdom building and stuff, and then roll for our I guess we'll roll for what's actually happening in the kingdom invasions, but as far as the scenarios, we're gonna have to do simple ones just because we're running so few units. So we'll see. But nice. And I also just aged myself. Oh yeah, that's right. We can't talk about. Remember when Monty Python was on PBS? Yeah, we can't can't let anybody know. Those eras. Yes. Yeah, I noticed that YouTube analytics are funny. They skew. I'm surprised at the age range of this channel. It's very funny. Yeah, somebody spammed me, some marketer spammed me with fake demographics about who your audience is for your podcast. That's right, who your audiences are for your podcast, and it was like women in their mid-30s that own their own homes. Like what are you talking about? It was really funny. It was so obvious. Obviously, you know, just fake, because do you know it's a tabletop podcast, and we talk about young ones. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Yes. So it'll always be Thursday night, because we take advantage of Chris's lunch, and it's usually around 12:30 Japan time is when at least I try to go live. But sometimes it slides a little bit later, because it's never predictable when Chris can get away. Sometimes there's just nonsense going on at the office there. Nice. Nice. All right. But yeah, so we will be back soon then for some Oathmark. Yeah, a board. I hope I can get the board looking a little bit more interesting before we start. Yeah, the only grass mat that I found was like that dark golf putting green kind of color. It looks really terrible. So, but I don't want things that are too difficult to move over, too much texture, because we're just going to probably just be moving like unit trays and stuff. So we'll see. Nice. So take care, everyone, and we will be back soon. Uh-oh. Orcus's brother left for Rumspringa and never came back. Nice. It could be Matt. It could be. It's possible. All right, everybody. So take care, and tune in if you're going to be around. I guess that'll be Friday night. If you're around Friday night, and see what Oathmark is all about, and see how well or how badly either we roll or we designed our armies. So it'll be one or the other. So take care, everyone, and we will see you again next time. And thank you, everyone that's on the Patreon and supporting what we're doing. The audio for this goes up on the RSS feed, and we'll get more audio. I want to get the Blade Runner playthrough and everything up as audio, and also the audio book read through is probably a good thing to have as audio only as well. So we'll be back soon, and everybody take care. See you next time. Goodbye.